Coming up on TekThing, what do you do when free services suddenly turn your $200 camera into a brick? Google Home Mini, we got to review external battery charging for the Surface Pro, find a mini Maker Faire, and more. All coming up on TekThing. Thank you, patrons. Without your support via patreon.com/TekThing, we wouldn't be able to make the show for you each and every week. Join the crew that makes TekThing possible at patreon.com/TekThing.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we have something useful in every single show.
Hydrate, people. It is hot in the East Bay.
That's true. It is randomly hot.
It's like 90 degrees.
I just saw my friend's picture. He has a temperature readout, like a laser one or whatever. I don't know.
A
but
laser
the
thermometer?
sidewalks down in San Diego are 107 degrees in the shade and 133 degrees Fahrenheit in the sunlight. That's crazy.
Don't
it's really hot.
Lick the 133 degree sidewalk.
So I have a story today.
Uh-oh, story time.
Yeah, it's a fun story. So this morning, I was trying to pull up my Canary security camera at home to view my notifications and to see live video. So I wanted to make sure that my hue lights were actually turning on when I told this little Google Home Mini, which I'm reviewing today, to turn them on. Because, you know, I'm not at home and I'm not psychic,
right.
So I wanted to verify that they were actually turning on.
The whole point of you having the camera in your house is to see things inside your house with the camera.
Yeah.
What happened?
So the Canary Live view just kept on loading. It just gave me a circle and it would not actually load. And then I clicked around in the app and I discovered that night mode, which is this option that turns on monitoring about movement while you sleep without notifications. So it still records video whenever you're asleep.
Creepy, but effective.
It's very effective. Apparently it's no longer free though. And I was like, that's weird. Why is that? So then I tweeted them. I didn't get an answer. So then I Googled the issue and it turns out there's a lot more to it.
This is such a great title.
Yes, this is a beautiful title. Canary is charging for services that used to be free and everyone is mad.
Under the new terms, non-paying users will no longer be able to freely access night mode on their cameras, nor will they be able to record video for later viewing. On top of that, says The Verge, all the videos the company previously recorded for free will be converted into 10-second clips called video previews.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
You have like, did you pay, I think the cameras are like $170 each now.
Yeah, it depends on if you get like a coupon or something like that. Right. Generally, MSRP, they're $199, but they've been doing a lot of deals lately where you can get like 2 for $50 off.
So yesterday, you had free, like, unlimited recording on their web server, and you had night vision mode.
Yep, I had the night mode.
A functional
well,
home
night vision and night mode are different. So night vision I still get, so it still gives me that night vision.
And the night mode.
But night mode, so I don't receive those automatic recordings of any kind of movement in my household while I'm still asleep. So that's not recorded anymore.
So this is a giant bag of Internet of Things suck.
Yes, it is.
You spend hundreds of dollars on hardware, and suddenly you're adding hundreds of dollars a year in charges.
Right.
So you've got, what, 2 of these in your house?
I do, yeah. I have 2 different cameras, but it's not just the monthly charges. You no longer receive night mode at all, and motion-activated recordings become 10-second video clips, which I feel like is relatively useless if you need to watch a full clip to see what happens. What if somebody robs you, and in that 10 seconds that you receive of a clip, you don't see their face? Like, what are you supposed to do with that 10-second clip?
I guess that means it's like it seems like those software recovery apps or the file recovery apps where it tells you what it can find, and then you can pay per megabyte or gigabyte to get it rolling.
So now you pay $9.99 per month for 1 device, or you can pay $14.99 per month for 2 to 3 devices, and they have a whole listing out of what exactly you get when you sign up for the membership on their website. So they also introduced this thing called two-way talk recently, which I was basically pestering them about for years at CES. Every single year I would go up to them.
Is it done yet?
When are you releasing it? And they kept on telling me like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. We'll release an update soon.
It's here.
It's here. But it's also available just for subscribers of the membership, so you have to pay $10 for the two-way talk.
On top of the other stuff, or is it all under the same?
It's all included in the same membership price.
Well, that seems so nice.
So I will clarify, with the whole loading screen that I was receiving this morning, the 27 live view, 24 hours, 7 day a week live view, that should work on the free membership. So I don't know why mine was not working. Eventually I did get it to work, so I was able to make sure my hue lights were turning on, but I guess their servers were down or something like that this morning. But I'm missing out on that night mode non-notification screen, which I got really used to using just to make sure my cats aren't destroying the house when I'm asleep, or to figure out which one was barfing on the floor while I was asleep upstairs. Like, that's useful information. And the 10-second video clip thing just seems kind of useless to me.
No, it's not useless. It is an attempt to drive you into paying $10 a month for the service.
Yes, it is.
So it sounds a lot like Canary's bringing their subscriptions into line with Nest Aware. So if you buy a Nest camera, of which there are 33,000 of them now, they're not inexpensive. They start at like $200 for a basic indoor camera. You know, you get a 10-day video history, alerts, clips, their time lapses, creating activity zones. That's like $10 a month. Or $100 a year for the first camera.
Okay.
And then it's $5 a month, $50 a year for additional cameras.
Okay, yeah, that sounds similar.
So if you want a 30 days of video history, it's $30 a month or $300 a year for the first camera, and additional cameras cost $15 a year or $150 a year. So for
I feel like that's getting kind of expensive.
No, it's definitely expensive. A friend of mine, so my friend Daniel recently set up. It's kind of like Daniel, a friend of mine in New Jersey, and Robert, our friend from AVXL, both have been heavily involved with setting up security cameras. So my friend Daniel set up 5 security cameras at his sister-in-law's house. And looking at those prices for the Nest cameras, I'm starting to understand why he rolled his own system. He used this Amcrest, you know, the NV4108-AS, 1080p, blah, 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 blah. It's like an 8-channel recorder. This costs like $120 depending on where you buy it. It's not super sophisticated. And you got to roll, you got to roll the whole thing yourself, and you got to use, compatible cameras. He said it records video just fine, but he's had issues with display and remote playback. And Amcrest is like, well, you didn't use our cameras, so it's their camera's fault. And the camera company says, well, our cameras, our cameras are compatible, so it must be Amcrest's fault. And that's one of the things. If you roll your own system instead of paying the monthly fee, you got to deal with all the problems of that, right? Synology is another option. Synology, which is what Robert did for this huge camera system he set up, like surveillance station would be one example of it.
Oh, yeah.
Might be a better supported way to go. There's basically plugins for the Synology NASs. I think Robert's running like 24 cameras now into a giant. But he has a big NAS with all of the storage, and it's a commercial. I will call it a commercial installation, but it's got a big interface, and you can start looking at what's going on in there. Here's the thing, like, do you want to, you're looking at, you have like, let's call it $300 in cameras.
Okay, yes.
Do you start paying the $100 a year to make them useful again, or do you burn them with fire and go somewhere else?
Well, now,
sell them on eBay and go somewhere else.
Now I'm concerned about their business plans and their business future, because if they are if they're taking away all these features that I used to get for free and they're putting them into the membership plan, that tells me that they're not making enough money and they need to find better ways to make that money. So I'm incredibly bummed about this whole thing. I'm very, very upset that they have removed all these free options that I have gotten used to, and honestly, it almost feels like it's a bait and switch, since they did advertise the products as having these features till just a few weeks ago, and now they aren't offering refunds to recent customers outside of their refund policy. So if you bought something like 120 days ago, you're not going to get a refund for it, and now it's just kind of a brick if you bought it specifically for those reasons. So it kind of feels like one big bait and switch, and I speak from my business management college years, learning about that stuff legally. Now, if I did have purchased one of these a few months ago specifically for those needs, then I would feel like I was totally wasting money. I feel like I did get my money's worth since I've had them set up for so long now. I've had them for several years, and I've been a serious advocate of this company, of Canary, for such a long time. Like, anytime somebody asked me about a security camera, I was like, get the Canaries. Awesome free versions, awesome membership if you want to pay the $10 a month. They have great HD footage. Like, they have awesome features. But taking them away from me when I've gotten so used to it is a real killer. It's a real business killer.
It's a bummer.
It's a real bummer. So I've been considering maybe I should look into a different security camera now. And maybe I could just resell the ones that I've purchased myself from Canary on eBay or something. I'll just resell those. But I was thinking about maybe I should get these Logitechs, because I was looking at their options for free that you don't have to pay a membership for, and they offer things like the notifications, they offer a night mode, and they offer, you know, the pop-ups on your screen so that you can see live video 24/7. And I believe it's like 7 days of recording that you get for the free version. So there's plenty of options out there, and this one is also a $200 security camera. But of course, since I've never tested those Logitech cameras, I don't know how good they would be. I will have to get one in and test it out myself, because the usability can be completely different from the Canary. I'm just
well, right
so
now
sad.
the Canary is useless.
It is. It feels useless. I'm just so bummed out about the whole thing, because I've been such an advocate for like Canary for so long, and now I feel like they just don't care about me as a customer anymore.
Well. Maybe not going out of business was more important than not pissing you off.
I think it must have been. There's tons of people out there who love memberships, though, so you know they will love these
there's
features.
nothing wrong with a membership. It's just suddenly finding out that you have to pay for stuff that used to be free is always irritating.
I'm like, really?
Have you been blindsided by hardware that suddenly turns into a brick or gets way more expensive because the company failed or decided to change its business model? Yo, Shannon. Email ask@TekThing.com. We want to hear about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Moore steps up to the 13th tee here at Richmond Country Club.
Oh wait, I should hold the golf club like this, right?
We are such golfers. She's rocking the Amazon Alexa lifestyle. She's reviewed the Echo Dot, Anker's Eufy Genie, and of course Google's Home. Today, it's time to check out the Google Home Mini and see if Google's catching up to Alexa's voice control lead.
I feel like I should not throw this.
Don't throw that.
I was considering like throwing it like it's a little golf ball or something.
I don't know where the golf is.
Maybe I shouldn't do that.
He's lining up for the putt on the 13th. Oh my goodness. Well, okay.
Google Home Mini.
It's stylish. It's got that fabric-covered rock thing that's so popular with the kids these days.
I keep on touching the volume up and the volume down rockers on the two sides. They're not really rockers, they're just touch sensitive. This is the Google Home Mini. You can find it on the internet for $49. It comes in orange, white, and a very pretty black version as well. This is basically Google's competitor to the Amazon Echo Dot, which I already own. It's $49.99. Big props to my friend who's letting me borrow her Google Home Mini, because I don't have mine yet. So upon first connection to this little baby, all you have to do is download the Google Home app and use the on-screen directions to link your device to your Google account, get them both connected to the same Wi-Fi network, and off you go. And luckily, the app is for both Android and iOS, so you don't have to be stuck in the Android lifestyle. If you have an Apple phone, you can also use it, which is great.
Yay.
And then you can approve location services, voice-activated assistants, etc., all those things that you're pretty much used to using with Google Home. They do warn you, though, that recordings of your voice can also set it off. Yay, privacy.
Well, we actually discovered that earlier when you were playing back your B-roll and this started answering your voice on the B-roll.
It was really funny, and it was rather quiet, but it still picked it up, and I was a little impressed with that. So once you set up everything on here, you can then do home control devices, which are basically all those smart home, Internet of Things devices. All you have to do in the on-screen app, and I'll show you some pictures of this, you hit the plus icon, then you scroll through the different companies to find the ones you own and the ones that you want to connect to. Each one will require you to link the third-party service with your Google account, which is fairly similar to how the Amazon Echoes work. For example, I set up my Amazon or my Philips Hue lights to work with this, which I was talking about in the last segment, and I say, hey Google, turn on the den.
Sure, turning on 4 lights.
So then back at home, it turned on the Philips Hue lights in my den, which probably looks really weird to my neighbors since nobody is home.
Or the cats just ran out of the room howling.
Hey Google, turn off den.
Sure, turning off 4 lights.
Yay! It works really well, and it's quite responsive too. One thing that I noticed though, it is missing Sonos, unfortunately.
That's okay. Sonos just got integrated into Amazon's Alexa like
yes, they did.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's very, very new. So that's something I've been waiting for 2 years with the Amazon Echo Dot and the regular Echo. So woohoo, finally. Thank you, Sonos. But of course, this is not compatible with the Google Home right now. Every other third-party device that I was looking at, Google finally has integrated, which is awesome because last year when I reviewed the Google Home, they didn't have those available. They had very limited options for third-party devices.
That was the big takeaway from your review. It's like,
Yes.
it works. You can connect it to like a thing.
It's really cool, but you can't connect it to all your other things.
So it sounds like Google is catching up to Amazon.
Yes, they absolutely are. And I also want to mention too, the Google Home Mini does not have audio out, but it does have Bluetooth. So if you are looking for something with audio out, this won't be the best choice for you. But if you want to connect it to something that's Bluetooth, you totally can. It is pretty loud and it's a pretty bassy miniature speaker. It only has a 40mm driver, but they include that far field voice recognition, so they can hear you from pretty far off.
I mean,
even if it's in a louder environment as well.
Are you talking about having Google speak back to you, or were you actually listening to music on this thing?
Both, actually.
Okay.
I was listening to music and it was very loud, and when I'm talking to it, it can hear me from far away as well. So it can pick up your voice and it can also splurt out 360-degree sound. Both very, very well. It is louder than the Echo. It is more bassy than the Echo, but I would say that the Echo is clearer. So for example, and you might want to mute your own Echo devices real quick. Alexa, what's the weather?
Currently, in Panola it's 89 degrees with clear skies and sun. You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 89 degrees and a low of 53 degrees.
And then if I say, hey Google, what's the weather today?
Today in Richmond, it'll be sunny with a forecasted high of 90 and a low of 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Currently it's 89 and sunny.
Cool. Thank you, Google. Oh, it won't reply to that. Asking a question is very easy. You can ask it pretty much anything that's going to show up on Google. It can answer pretty much anything that you would normally search for on there. It also does really, really good with translations. So I was trying to translate Japanese just to see how well it would work. On Alexa, you can do that as well, but it requires a third-party app called Translated, which also works, but it doesn't work as fast. So if I wanted to say something like, hey Google, how do I say my name is Shannon in Japanese?
私の名前はシャノンです。
That's correct. 私の名前は Shannon です. That's exactly correct. Amazon will give me the same exact entry, but I have to go through that translated app, and it does take a little bit longer. If I want to do something like, tell me about my day, Alexa, oops, sorry, mute. Alexa is going to... Oh, it said that's okay. That's so funny. It will open up a news-related item while Google Home tells me more about the time and the weather for my location and if there's anything on my calendar, for example.
That was maybe, can Alexa integrate into your Google Calendar?
Yes.
Okay.
Finally, it can do that. The Google Home has the ability to tell you who you are. So if you set up multiple accounts, it can tell the difference. So if you have two people, like me and Patrick, both set up an account on the same Google Home, if he asks it to call his mom, it will call his mom. If I ask it to call my mom, it will call my mom without us specifically saying like, hey, this is Shannon, can you call Mrs. Morse?
Does it recognize my voice?
It will, yeah. Isn't that cool?
Or creepy?
It's a little creepy
Cool,
too, but
creepy.
it does recognize your voice. So if I say, hey Google, what's my name?
Your name is Snubs.
Hey Google, change my name to Shannon.
You'd like me to call you Shannon, is that right?
Yes.
Hey Google.
Okay, got it.
Oh, you don't have an account set up though.
Hey Google, change my name to Snubs.
I couldn't verify your voice, so I can't make a note of your name.
So you don't have an account set up.
Or retrain the voice model in the Google Home app.
It's just like, I don't know who you are, you don't have an account, so I can't answer you.
It worked.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So Google Home will tie in automatically to your Chromecast if you have a Chromecast on the same network, if you have one, obviously. So you can switch on your TV to your Chromecast input and you can play music, movies, and TV shows all through your TV, cool. Even YouTube as well. I did notice with this, you have to be pretty specific with what you want to say. So I will play a short video for you right here as an example. Hey Google, play Supernatural on Chromecast.
All right, playing your Google Play Music playlist called Supernatural on Snubscast.
Hey Google, play Supernatural on Netflix.
Okay, Supernatural from Netflix. Playing on Snubscast.
Hey Google, play Pretty Little Liars on TV.
Okay, Pretty Little Liars from Netflix. Playing on Snubscast.
Oh, you make an appointment? We'll go to the doctor's together.
Hey Google,
That's fine.
pause. Google Home also has a wider selection of music, especially if you are looking for something that's super random, like J-pop music. It will recognize J-pop music. On the other hand, the Amazon Echo, I almost said its name, will not find any J-pop music. It says, I can't find anything matching your criteria, and I was just like, well, Google wins in that department. The Echo has more third-party services though, so if you are looking to add a specific account, like if you have a SiriusXM account or something like that, you may have better luck with the Echo depending on your app of choice, but the Google Home has been adding more over the past year since the original Home came out. Right now they have 4 options that you can choose from as far as music playback goes. YouTube is included in that. I believe Pandora is one of them, and Google Music as well, and then there's a 4th one. So you do have some options, but obviously if you have a random one, you might want to choose the Echo Dot over that. Now, calling functionality is the last thing that I wanted to talk about, and this works well really too. The Google Home automatically connects to your contacts if you have an Android on the same account or if you already have a Google account tied to it. So you can simply say something like, hey Google, call Patrick Norton.
By the way, the person you're calling won't get the number you're calling from. To set up caller ID and start using your own number, go to the Google Home app on your phone.
I was going to mention
Calling
that.
Patrick Norton, mobile.
And it should start calling you. Oh yeah, there it goes. And it says no caller ID. So then,
which I would normally ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to answer it?
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
Oh, there we go. So as you can see, the calling feature is pretty clear as well. There's a little bit of a delay, but that's kind of to be expected with a wireless protocol like this, since it's going through my phone to the account here. But overall, it sounds pretty good on both sides. How do I sound, Patrick?
Actually pretty good.
Actually pretty good.
All right, cool. So
I'll just let myself back in.
All right. Hey Google, hang up. So is it worth 50 bucks? What do you think? Is it worth 50 bucks?
I think so.
I think so,
you
too.
want to do, well, I mean, you have both of these because you are testing these.
Yes. Well, this one I love, and I kept it because it's great. It does all the things that I need it to do. I don't call people on it. It does have that capability now, but I don't want to give Amazon information about my contacts, so I haven't shared that with the application.
So in terms of hardware, though, it seems like Google has caught up. In terms
Yes.
of services, Alexa still has the lead.
Alexa does, but Google is really, really catching up right now, especially with all those third-party apps for IoT and SmartThings devices. So it's definitely getting there.
So basically choose who you want listening to you 24/7 in your house,
Yeah.
Amazon or Google.
Basically. Now, since I first reviewed the Google Home, like I said again, tons of integrations are happening. The speaker is very nice, not incredible, obviously, but it is good enough, and it pulls in lots of features straight from your Google account. So if you already are in the Google environment, that will probably be the one that you choose. Echo or Home, either one will definitely be helpful to a household if you are cool with letting this kind of technology listen to you 24/7. But luckily you do have the option to delete any voice recordings in both of those applications.
I'm on the cusp of getting an Alexa just because I want to experiment with controlling Sonos by
For
talking.
real?
For reals.
Wow!
You know, I'm sitting there washing dishes and thinking, you know, I'm almost ready to have the 24-hour observation lurking in my home.
Wow.
Which will be great until the 5-year-old figures out how to use it.
Let me know what you think and if there's any other IoT devices that you want us to review. I'm really into that whole thing, especially if they have a secure device. So let me know which ones you want to check out. Ask at TekThing.com, or you can tweet at Snubs or at TekThing.
Woohoo! Are you a TekThing patron? If you're a patron, you get your name on our wall of thanks. You get listed in the show. We even do monthly hangouts with folks in the $10 and up tiers. And we got more patron treats coming for you at patreon.com/TekThing. And remember, we love your questions even if you aren't a patron. Email ask at TekThing.com. And if you hate email, we got you covered. Tweet at TekThing, at Snubs, or at Patrick Norton, or post on Facebook.com/TekThing. And while you're there, if you could spare a moment or two to give our video the thumbs up on YouTube, like our Facebook page, tell a friend about the show, we would be grateful. As always, Patreon.com/TekThing is your way to help keep the show ad-free and get your eyes and ears on special content that only goes out to our patrons. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
We got an email to ask at TekThing.com from Stefan, who writes, "Hi all, I am looking for an external power bank to power my Surface Pro 3, but would also like to have the option of USB-C for future gadgets. What would you recommend?" From Stefan in the UK.
Woohoo!
It's a great question, Stefan.
Oh my goodness. So USB-C, the nice thing about USB-C is that it's so flexible.
Yes.
Or maybe that's the problem.
Not to mention you can plug it in both ways.
That actually is the #1 best thing about USB-C.
It's true.
I would recommend you get a Type-C USB cable. Look, here's a Type-C, like a Type A to Type-C USB cable.
Okay.
It's $10 on Amazon. It's got 313 customer reviews. They're super happy with it. That's
must be
awesome.
good.
Yeah, you know, that gets a fake spot review of F. 71% low quality reviews. Doesn't mean it's a bad cable, but it does seem to indicate that the marketing might be an issue. And I bring that up because, as Nathan Kay and Benson Leung shouted from the rooftops last year, there are a lot of crappy USB-C cables and chargers out there. Amazon, in fact, bans USB-C cables that don't meet USB Implementers Forum standards.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
They got pretty serious about it. And
good job, Amazon.
There's a lovely suggested peripherals Google spreadsheet where they went through USB-C chargers and USB-C cables. I don't know if this is currently maintained, but it gives you an idea of some of the problems that can happen with some of the less desirable cables.
Okay.
You know, where there's like voltage issues, or they're wired improperly, or they're just a giant bag of suck that could potentially, you know, burn your house to the ground. So between Shannon and I, for any type of USB-C charging, we generally buy cables from Google, Apple, and Anchor.
Yes, so true.
And if you start charging your laptop over USB-C, be really careful about the cable you use, because you could be pulling 45 or 65 watts through that cable to charge a Core i7 laptop over USB-C.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on it. And by the way, just for fun, just because it has a USB-C port doesn't mean it'll actually charge over USB-C.
That's true.
So you might be wondering why I'm talking about all this. Stefan, don't spend a lot of time seeking the ultimate future-proof USB-C battery.
Okay.
I just want to say that right now, because the whole standard is evolving and it's messy, and it's sometimes messy even within like the Apple environment or the Microsoft environment or the Dell environment. The other problem you have is the Surface Pro 3 charger, which looks a lot like this.
That little baby.
That little baby. It outputs 12 volts at 2.58 amps, and most every USB-C battery I can find is 5 volts output only. Yeah.
Good to know.
You also have a proprietary power connector for your Surface, so you'll need to buy a cable that'll run from the 12-volt battery to the proprietary Surface connector.
Well, do you have a recommendation?
Here's one right here, kids. The Surface Pro 4 DC charging cable fit Intel Core i5/i7 only, blah, 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 $8.99, 79 customer reviews. They seem to be legit customer reviews, and one of the things they point out is that quality control seems to be an issue.
Oh, no.
Yeah, cord has to be at the right angle for it to work, not a proper fit. So, you know, it's a little all over the map.
Okay.
I might suggest you buy a battery that includes a cable. One that has excellent ratings and an excellent fake spot rating is Lizone's QC 35,000 milliamp hour 5-port portable charger, external battery, quick charge for Microsoft, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So, that's $100, includes the cable you need, has lots of ports on it, and you know, basically you can just barely see right there. There's that like 16.8 to 20 volts, and there's a 12 volt. Yeah, I think this is the one with all the positive reviews. It sure
looks like
that
it.
way. Hey, just for fun, if you've never done a fake spot review, let's do one really quickly. Good, B.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I like to check.
Okay, cool.
Another option that's got excellent reviews, does not include the cable, is Rav Power's 23,000 milliamp hour portable charger, 4.5 amp DC output external battery pack, 9 volt, 12 volt, 16 volt, 19 volt, 20 volts.
Jeez.
Yeah, also $100. Also a good fake spot rating.
Okay.
You may notice that none of these are our usual preferred brand of battery, which is Anker, because Anker doesn't really offer any 12 volt output batteries that will fit inside your backpack.
Yeah.
And none of these are USB-C. Well, none of these are USB-C at all. I can't really find any USB-C batteries that charge at anything other than 5 volts. So literally, to get the voltage you need to charge your laptop, it's going to be almost impossible to find a USB-C battery.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. On the upside, you will get a ton of additional battery life. This is surfacetip.com. It's a website that's about the Surface. And they list the battery capacities of all of the different Surfaces.
Oh, nice.
So a Surface Pro 3.
So he's got a Surface Pro 3.
Yeah, so that's got a 5,600 milliamp hour battery, which means if he rocks this 35,000 milliamp hour battery, he should be able to recharge his thing 5 or 6 times easily.
That'll get you to Australia and back.
If you want to read a lovely snark.
Uh-oh.
Well, actually, you know.
I love snarks.
I love snark. Marco.org, Marco Arment, a programmer, writer, podcaster, geek, and coffee enthusiast, talks about the impossible dream of USB-C. We love the idea of USB-C. One port and one cable that can replace all the other ports and cables. It sounds so simple, straightforward, and unified. In practice, it's not even close.
Ooh.
So if you feel like you've been having problems with USB-C, you might read The Impossible Dream of USB-C and find that you're not alone.
If you have any questions that you want to add on about USB-C cables, you can send those over to ask@tekthing.com, or you can tweet @PatrickNorton.
Ron emailed ask@tekthing.com. Hi, Patrick and Shannon. I always enjoy TekThing, but I think you made an error on your coverage of the Wi-Fi crack attacks. Steve Gibson says the attack affects only clients, not access points, so updating routers is not necessary. The exception would be if the router acts as a client in any way, like a bridge, range extender, wireless distribution system, or mesh router. Sincerely, Ron.
All right.
Thank you, Ron. Raise your hand if you have a mesh router, range extender, bridge, or manage a great, big, messy business or enterprise Wi-Fi system. Yes, there are reasons this attack sucks a lot more if you're an admin at a secure installation or company that needs secure Wi-Fi to protect itself, which is something I think we discussed last week.
Yes.
Yeah, most Windows clients are patched if they're not dealing with the group key access stuff. But we have a lot of people out there who are administering magnificent networks at places where they don't want to share the Wi-Fi to an accessible crack, or at least want to work to keep ahead of the script kiddyification of tools that will allow a man-in-the-middle attack on clients and, or goodness help them, routers or access points in their corporate network.
So technically, Steve Gibson is right in saying that, but there is a whole lot more to it. Yeah. So over on the crackattacks.com website, luckily the creator made this huge Q&A about the crack attacks. So if you go over there, and I'll put the link in the show notes, this basically says, what if there are no security updates for my router? And they also add, our main attack is against the four-way handshake. It does not exploit access points, but instead targets clients. So it might be that your router does not require security updates. We strongly advise you to contact your vendor for more details. In general, though, you can try to mitigate attacks against routers and access points by disabling client functionality, which is, for example, used in repeater modes, and disabling 802.11r fast roaming. For ordinary home users, your priority should be updating clients such as laptops and smartphones. So, the router can be attacked as well. The AP can be attacked, but it does require authenticated devices like in your examples. Now, since routers are prone to not receiving updates, that's why professionals are recommending updates to your devices, because those are more commonly going to receive updates. In fact, a lot of those updates are already available now, just like the one from Microsoft. But since many IoT devices, for example, don't even receive an update, that is why I am recommending that you patch your router as as well. That way, all known possible entries for Krack are mitigated, especially if you don't even know if you have 802.11r on your router. I've also seen a lot of questions about MAC address filtering, and I would like to clarify that as well from the words of a wireless security developer and researcher who said, MAC address filtering will also not work because the attack occurs against clients that are already connected. Filters will not prevent the attack if your product is not patched. And MAC addresses are easily spoofed. Very good information to know. So I hope that clears it up. The company that I work with, it's called Hack5. They've been developing products specifically for wireless penetration for information security professionals. We understand and we work with Wi-Fi every single day with our products. So this attack it's definitely something that we understand inside and out.
The product actually had, the Wi-Fi Pineapple actually had to be patched to have a fix for the WPA2 crack.
I wonder if there's a module incoming. So thank you so much for emailing any questions about the Krack attacks. Feel free to send them over to ask@tekthing.com. And I think that's about it for today.
One last thing. The family and I had a lovely time at the East Bay Mini Maker Faire this weekend. If you've
You have an analog?
I have an analog.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have more of a tip, right? There are big maker fairs, right? The one in San Mateo or the Bay one, the Chicago one, the New York one. They tend to be huge. They tend to be a little overwhelming.
There's even some over in Europe as well.
There's a ton. Well, I just want to point out that they're all over the world. There are mini maker fairs or smaller maker fairs. The one here in the East Bay in Oakland is the East Bay Mini Maker Faire. This was really cool. My youngest son fell in love with it.
Whoa.
If you're curious about a mini maker faire, there are maker fairs all around the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's the big one, the Maker Faire Bay Area, there's the New York one, but you know, if you start digging around, there are all sorts, here are mini maker fairs or community maker fairs, school maker fairs, featured maker fairs, flagship maker fairs, which is basically the one from Maker Media, but there are lots of options out there. If you find the big giant ones are just no fun, I highly suggest you look for a mini maker faire near you.
With that, remember once in a while, put down the phone, step away from the screen, close the laptop, and do something analog, like Sam, who writes, I just wanted to share an analog moment with you. In my role as an automotive technology analyst, I spent a good portion of my days talking and writing about automated and connected vehicles. To compensate, I have a highly analog car that I take out and drive to go nowhere in particular. Here's my 1990 Mazda Miata in its natural state with the top down. And that is from Sam. Thank you so much, Sam. And Mazda Miatas are awesome. I love them. They are so cute.
They're a little snug.
That looks really fun.
It is really fun.
Who took that photo? One of your friends?
Maybe he has a very long selfie stick and he airbrushed it out. Send us your something analog, ask@tekthing.com, or tweet us. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing.
What's your favorite car?
You know, I'm a big fan of my beloved 1995 Dodge Ram with the Cummins diesel engine.
Nice.
You know, Subarus are always, I've had a lot of fun in Subarus.
Oh yeah, Subarus.
A lot of fond memories of Eni Volvo 240 wagon or sedan. You know, I'd like a 1964 Jaguar XK Mark I Roadster.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know
anything about cars. If I suddenly stumble across $100,000, well,
I know what they look like. I don't know anything about them though. I think Teslas are really pretty, very expensive, and I could never afford to install the charger thingy in my apartment complex.
Here's a Jaguar.
Ooh, that's pretty.
That's like a Mark I.
Ooh.
Actually, I can't remember the headlights anymore. That would be good, right there.
My husband wants to invest in a muscle car, like a 70s like classic muscle car.